Welcome to this lesson on BIOS and UEFI settings. Today we will explore aspects of system firmware, focusing on the BIOS and the UEFI, their functions, and how to configure them for optimal system performance. So what's BIOS? BIOS stands for Basic Input Output System. It's a firmware interface that serves as a bridge between your computer hardware and the operating system. BIOS is stored on a small chip on the motherboard, and it is the first software that runs when you turn your computer on. It's important to note that the BIOS is considered legacy technology, and it is gradually being replaced by UEFI in modern systems. What is UEFI? UEFI stands for Unified Extension Firmware Interface. Is a modern successor to BIOS. It offers more features and capabilities compared to the traditional BIOS. UEFI supports larger hard drives over 2 terabytes, provides fast boot times, and offers a more user-friendly interface. Most computer manufactured after 2010 uses UEFI. So, although many still refer to EASE BIOS for familiarity. So sometimes UEFI started from systems that are manufactured after the year 2010. What are their functions? Both the BIOS and the UEFI perform several crucial functions. They conduct a power on self-test, which is post, to ensure all hardware components are functioning correctly. They initialize hardware components, allow you to select a boot device, load the operating system, and provide runtime services for the OS and applications. Understanding these functions is crucial for troubleshooting and optimizing your system. How do you access the BIOS? To access BIOS or UEFI settings, you typically need to restart your computer and press a specific key during the startup process. The key varies by manufacturer, but it is often F2, delete, or escape. The required key is usually displayed on your boot screen. For modern systems with UEFI, you can also access the settings through your Windows Advanced Startup options. We will discuss later in the lesson. BIOS and UEFI settings offers various configuration options. Some of the most common include setting the boot order, adjusting the date and time, configuring CPU and RAM settings, managing storage configurations, setting up power management system options, and configuring security features. We'll dive into each of these in the following slide. The boot order determines the sequence in which your system checks drives for boot information. Typically, the order might be USB drive, CD drive, hard drive, and network boot, but you can actually modify this order to prioritize your specific drives. For example, if you want to boot from a USB drive to install an operating system, you would want to move USB drive to the top of the boot order so that your BIOS can dictate your USB drive first before searching for others, so that you can load the boot information from the USB drive. BIOS and UEFI allows you to view and sometimes adjust CPU and RAM settings. This includes CPU clock speed, voltage, RAM timing, and frequency. Some systems offer overclocking option for advanced users. However, it is crucial to note that incorrect settings can lead to system instability or even hardware damage. Unless you're an experienced user, it's generally best to leave these settings at their default values. That's a good one. Even me, I know I've altered some settings, but I actually make sure I consult the boot or the manufacturer of that PC. I had to go to their website to see their configuration to know the limit your PC can carry to avoid extending the limit beyond your system capacity, then which can lead to system instability and even cause your hardware damaging. You may overclock your CPU and you lose your CPU crashes or damages, and which means you are purchasing a better on that CPU, or if it's a laptop that is ultra slim, you are getting a new motherboard. Storage configuration. In this storage section, you can configure various settings related to your drive. This includes setting the starter mode. Is it AHCI? Is recommended for modern system, or setting up RAID array if your system supports it. Configuring network VME drives and enabling or disabling specific storage controllers. These settings significantly impact your system's performance and storage and functionality. Power management settings allows you to configure how your system uses energy. You can configure sleep states, enable and disable features like wake on LAN, which allows your computer to turn on when you connect it remotely. Adjust fan control setting and set up power on behaviors. Proper configuration of these settings can help balance performance and energy efficiently. We also have security settings. So the settings in your BIOS are crucial for protecting your system. You can set an administrator password to prevent unauthorized access to the BIOS or UEFI settings. UEFI supports offer secure boot, so which helps you prevent malware from loading during your boot process. So the new systems that comes with UEFI, it allows you to boot without your system contacting malware, because most times malware can be installed in an operating system and you are trying to install it into your PC, it actually moves over. But if you have the UEFI and your secure boot is turned on, it prevents that from happening. You can also enable and disable TMP, which is Trusted Platform Model, for enhanced security and manage virtualization support, which is necessary for running VM machines. I noticed when Windows 11 came out new and people were having the challenge of TMP 2.0. That was one of the requirements for Windows 11. You must have TMP 2.0 before other modifications were coming later. I had that challenge and I had to go and I actually fixed it, was to go and turn on virtualization, because TMP 2.0 allows virtualization. Should in case you want to run more software OS on your PC, you can actually do that. Then, what are the UEFI-specific features? UEFI offers several advantages over your traditional BIOS. They include a graphical user interface that's easy to navigate, mouse support for more intuitive control. You can use your mouse on the UEFI, while on BIOS you don't use your mouse. Then, built-in network capabilities for remote diagnostics and updates. Secure boot for enhanced security and supports for hard drives larger than 2 terabytes. These features make UEFI more user-friendly and capable than the legacy BIOS. So how do you update a BIOS or a firmware? Updating your BIOS or firmware can provide bug fixes, can bring new features, and also improve the compatibility. To update, all you need to do is to check your motherboard or system manufacturer website for the latest version. And when you have done that, you ensure you download the correct version of your specific model from your manufacturer website. So you follow the manufacturer website instructions carefully that is stated on their website, as an improper update can render your system unbootable. So you need to be very conscious. I'll also do a video on how to do that, and add on so that you will know how to actually upgrade your BIOS or your UEFI firmware properly. It's generally recommended to only update if you are experiencing issues or need a specific new feature. So you know your BIOS version. It actually shows when you pop up your BIOS, or you can actually check it when you access your boot settings, BIOS settings. You look at the version, you go to their website, and you check whether there is any new version. Then when there is a new version, there are some the website puts in what was the new version of features that we are added to that new version. So if you look at the features and you want a feature that is actually added in the new version, why not? You can upgrade. But if your system is performing well, working good, and there is no new feature you want, I don't think you should try upgrading your or updating your BIOS. Now, common BIOS or UEFI issues include CMOS battery failure, which can reset your settings. So when you are looking at this is actually one of the most common I've seen. You turn on your system, it will tell you to set time and date, or it will tell you to press F1 and all those things. Why? Is because the CMOS battery has failed. So most times these are issues I have, and the best fix is just to replace your CMOS battery. Go buy the battery and replace it. Um, then we have incorrect configuration preventing your computer system from booting. So most times, they might have this configuration that either it was reconfigured where it was not booting from the hard drive, it was booting from any flash drive. You plug flash drive, you could not see where from the flash drive. It will show an error, or maybe if there is forgotten password on the BIOS. Someone bought a system. I've seen that severally, where someone bought a system and was using system functioning well without knowing there was a BIOS administrator password that was set on the system. What they actually wanted to do and didn't really work out, because I was trying to configure the BIOS for my boot order and it was asking for password. I had to call on the attention of the person to ask, do you know the password? He said, no, I didn't know the password. And um, there are ways you can actually bypass the password, which I sort of be talking if later on how to bypass BIOS password. It's actually more technical. You have to start opening your laptop or the hard drive or the PC to start working on that. So many motherboards have a jumper, or button to clear CMOS and reset your BIOS or UEFI to default settings. This can often resolve issues, but remember, you will need to reconfigure your settings afterward. So most times when you forget your password or your BIOS password, you actually have a jumper, which is actually on mostly PCs, but for laptop, you have to actually do some reset on the CMOS battery for you to actually be able to clear your password. So when you clear that, it will reset everything. Even the boot order will change, the time and date will change, your region, a lot of configurations will change, your legacy mode, your how fast it takes to boot up, all those kind of things. Whether the CPU fan should run while your system is in the booting process. So all these configurations, you have to change it and go back and reconfigure them after resetting your BIOS. So what are the best practices? So when you're working with BIOS or UEFI settings, it's important to follow best practices. Always document any changes you make. So if you make a change on the BIOS, write it down, oh, this is what I made change. So you can revert back if necessary. So if something comes up later, you can, oh, this is the change I made that was not proper. Maybe that is giving this reaction. You go back and undo what you did, and most times it solves the issue. You can also update your firmware only when needed and with caution. It's very, very powerful that you update your firmware. I've updated a lot of BIOS. I updated one, you must actually be powered on, because while you're updating, if there's a power failure or outage on your laptop, or your desktop loses power, your system BIOS is corrupted. It's actually corrupted. it will take a lot of process to actually start flashing BIOS. And flashing BIOS means you are getting another one to put on the system. So it takes a very high process to avoid that. Make sure that you have your powered on and you have downloaded your BIOS on your operating system already. And you can actually update in two ways. You can update from your operating system, or you can actually download your BIOS and copy to a flash, then perform your upgrade from your USB or whatever storage device that is connected to your computer, especially those related to CPU and RAM or voltages. So be careful when you're modifying some changes, like those settings that are actually connected to CPU, overclocking, RAM, how many RAM should you use, virtualization. Be very, very careful. Voltages, oh, this is the voltage I want to give. But mostly not basic common systems doesn't have all those features. Yeah, most systems has all those features like CPU, RAM, and voltages are when you're working on those customizable systems like the gaming PCs, where you have the way to overclock your PC and all those voltages. So you have to actually be careful when modifying settings like that. Then keep your BIOS password secure and memorable. So if I've actually not seen any reason to set for me, based on my personal system, my Windows password is okay. But if you want to set a BIOS password, which is actually fine, so you can actually set password on your hard drive. You can set BIOS password on your hard drive. You can set BIOS password on your BIOS so that nobody can have unauthorized access to change any configuration on your BIOS. You can actually set on the hard drive. And most times, if you set password on your hard drive, if it lost the password, the hard drive goes bad because no one can have access to the hard drive. So you need to be very careful for that. Then lastly, always back up important data before any significant changes to your system. So perform backup before you make any changes. Do a backup, system backup on your system before performing any of those kind of changes. So to conclude, yeah, we actually have to understand that BIOS and UEFI settings is crucial for effective system management and troubleshooting. This firmware interfaces plays a vital role in your computer functionality. While they offer powerful configuration options, always exercise caution when making changes. Keep your system updated and secure, and don't hesitate to seek professional help if you are unsure about any settings. So why I'm telling you that is, I know this course is actually focused for the people that actually is foundation on computer engineering, and actually those that want to get their hands dirty or go into IT. So that's why I'm giving this information outly, but you actually need to do a lot of reading, do a lot of understanding, a lot of technicality before performing any of these configuration. Why am I saying that? Because if someone doesn't have a technical foundation, what you just need to do is there's no limit to what you can do. Just read up, go to the manufacturer website, go to BIOS, read about BIOS. There are some websites which you can access. They'll give you information. Make sure you read up, get updated, so that whatever you're working on, you're sure and that you're getting from a reliable source. So that should in case your system goes bad, you can go to the support of your manufacturer and drop your comment, and which someone will attend to you within 24 hours or some days. You'll be responded to. So thank you for attending this lesson on the BIOS and UEFI settings. Till we see next time in our next class. Have a nice day.